Caitlin Clark vs Angel Reese just played probably the biggest, most watched game in WNBA history. These two players are the biggest names in women's basketball. They have so much history, and it's definitely personal between these two. This game was the first of many battles in the pros between these young ladies, and best believe this game did not disappoint. But Angel Reese wasn't the only one Caitlin was going after, because Kamilla Cardoso, who dominated Iowa in the championship game, played her first WNBA game as well. The Chicago Sky came into this game 3-3, clear favourites to beat the struggling 1-8 Fever, but if you thought this was going to be a blowout, you thought wrong. This game was spicy, from great basketball to trash talk controversy. This game really had it all, so let's talk about it. Aliyah Boston dribble handoff to Caitlin Clark, and you already know what happens next.
Clark connects on a deep three.
They kick to the corner. Caitlin rushes out to contest. The shot goes up, it's missed, but guess who's there on the glass? Angel Reese out-hustles Nalyssa Smith, steps through and lays it up and in for her first points of the game. Chicago were making it hard for the Fever defensively. The Fever start 1 of 5 from 3. So next time, they keep it simple. Mitchell racing out in transition, no look shovel pass to Wallace, that's an easy layup. Down the other end, Clark feeds Boston in the post, and she shows why she was last year's #1 pick, faces up, puts the ball on the floor and scores. Again, Caitlin Clark hands off to Mitchell. She attacks with intent. Angel Reese rotates, leaving Nalyssa Smith wide open. That's not a good idea, and the former #2 pick buries her first free ball of the game. Check this out. Caitlin Clark here looking like she's still at Iowa. Throws an outlet pass over the defense to Kirstie Wallace. She finishes and is fouled on the play and won. Indiana on a roll, 9-2 run, and it's all because of the defense. Aliyah Boston here gets a firm hand on the ball, fights for possession, and sends this guy into a timeout. But if this timeout was supposed to slow the Fever down, it didn't work, because Caitlin Clark comes down the floor, uses the screen from Mitchell to free herself open. She lets go off the dribble and hits her second free of the ball game. That play there highlights her improvement so far since arriving in the W. In college, she would always favour the free ball going left, but Caitlin's becoming more and more comfortable going right, which will make her even more difficult to guard on the perimeter. If there's one thing that continued from Iowa to Indiana, it's Clark's assist numbers not doing her justice. From the inbound, the Fever use screens from Boston and Smith, which looks like they're trying to free up Mitchell from 3. Nobody follows Wallace, who's wide open, unmarked, under the hoop. Clark finds her, but she smokes the uncontested layup. 3 minutes 33 to go in the first, and there she is, Kamilla Cardoso, the #3 pick, the champion, coming back from injury, making her WNBA debut. And we finally get to see that frontcourt pairing we've all been hyped about since the draft. Back to Caitlin, she's still got a lot to learn. On this play, Harrison gets the rebound from the missed corner 3, and Clark needlessly reaches from behind and sends her to the line for an extra point. Kamilla Cardoso may be a rookie making her debut, but she looks like she's been playing WNBA all her life, catching several rebounds in these opening minutes and then getting her points in the pick and roll here. Clark and Boston do everything to compete with her physically down low, but you can't guard 6'8", and she scores her first points in the WNBA. At the end of the first quarter, Clark's been doing a bit of everything. 6 points, 3 rebounds and an assist. Reese and Cardoso are balling too. Start of the second quarter and the Fever lead 17-14. Great ball movement from the Fever. Caitlin coming round the screen beautifully picks out a rolling LaSamuelson for a layup, great vision, and the Fever stay hot. LaSamuelson again, this time finds Nalyssa Smith in the corner and it's good. The Sky struggled offensively to get high quality shots in the first, but they were able to hang in there by getting second chance points. Here's a missed shot close to the rim and you already know Cardoso is there to clean up and put the 2 points back on the board. The Fever just have no answer for her size, and on the very next possession they dump it inside to Kamilla again. 3 bodies surround her, she's completely unbothered, scores, makes her third of 3 field goals, has 6 points and 4 rebounds to start the game, and she's only played a few minutes. Tied game at 22, Clark drives, kicks to Nalyssa Smith, she's got it going early on, gets by her defender, settles for a floater in the lane, she scores and makes it 9 first half points for her, and that's another assist right there for CC. 5 minutes to go in the second, this time it's Reese's turn to get an assist. She passes out of the post to Chennedy Carter, who drives and scores to give Chicago the lead for the first time in a long time. but Caitlin Clark answers right back. With the shot clock winding down, she rejects the screen, drives straight into the paint, Reese can't get there quick enough to help, and Clark reverses it off the glass and in. For all the battles they've had, if anyone knows how Caitlin plays, it's Angel Reese, and on this play, she anticipates Caitlin's trademark get ahead pass, steals the ball, goes right at Boston, she's fouled and goes to the line to make one of her 2 free throws. Great screen from Boston here to allow Clark to retreat to the 3-point line on the drive. She misses the shot, air ball, unlike her, but Smith gets the rebound, kicks to Kelsey Mitchell, and she knocks it down. Mitchell's starting to get hot, she makes it a quick 5 points. Following Carter's missed 3, she's the furthest player ahead in transition, and that's an easy finger roll for the former All-Star. Again, Nalyssa Smith down low with Angel Reese, bangs, spins and finishes. Great footwork, and all of a sudden it's a 7-0 Fever run. Clark flings out to the perimeter, Kelsey Mitchell, hot as ever, pulls up, a long 2, knocks it down. She's scored 7 of the Fever's last 9 points. Final basket of the half is Angel Reese from the mid-range. It ain't pretty, but it goes in. And despite being on the receiving end of a 9-2 run at the end of the half, Chicago are hanging in there, and it's only a 6-point game. The 3 famous rookies were all doing their thing. Clark, 8 points, 4 assists on 3 of 6 shooting. Angel Reese continuing to be a problem, 3 offensive rebounds, 5 points. And then there's Kamilla Cardoso. She was able to make an impact in her brief cameo with 6 points and 4 rebounds. The third quarter begins, and may I remind you, Nalyssa Smith, I know she looks like a veteran, but she's only 23 years old. Angel Reese can't deal with her down low, she's got it going with 13 points and 6 rebounds. The third quarter started off really sloppy from both teams, a lot of turnovers and careless play. Mayberry got a couple buckets for the Sky, but this play right here is a great example of what we want to see more from the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell, she penetrates, kicks it back out to Boston. She hands it off to Caitlin, fakes the screen, rolls to the basket. Clark finds her in her sweet spot, and Boston doesn't settle for the jumper. She gets into the post, spins over the left shoulder, and banks it in with the right hand. You would think, having fallen for this play before, the Sky would have seen it coming. Clark inbounds to Wallace under the basket again, nobody's paying attention, but for the second time, she smokes the uncontested layup, but this time gets her own rebound and scores. They say basketball's a game of runs, and Indiana are on a run here. Smith steps in on the drive, gets the steal, takes it coast to coast and scores. 6-point Fever lead, timeout Chicago. They need a bit of stability, so they bring Kamilla Cardoso back into the game. Fortunately for them, Caitlin Clark, despite starting the game hot, has gone cold from deep. With 4 minutes 16 to go in the third, the Sky finally hit their first free ball of the game with this one from the corner from Mayberry. And if you ever wondered about the impact of Kamilla Cardoso, just watch this play. Her and Boston go way back. They won a title together at South Carolina, and they would have been going at it like this every day at practice. Boston facing up, gets Cardoso to bite, leaves her feet, but look how well she recovers, spinning to get herself back in defensive position. Boston gets her shot off, misses off the front of the rim, gets the defensive rebound, and they go again. Boston back on the perimeter, fakes the dribble handoff with Mitchell. Cardoso doesn't fall for it, stays with her, does great to contest here without fouling, and Boston's shot isn't even close. Fever back on offense. Kelsey Mitchell shows her great basketball IQ on this play with a quick cut to wrong foot the defender, catches, takes one dribble to let the helping Reese fly by, and that's an easy 2 points. For the Sky, Chennedy Carter was doing a lot of the scoring. She takes her points tally to double digits with this bucket right here. But how about Christy Wallace? She might miss the easy ones, but has no problem with the hard ones, and makes this difficult jumper right here and the foul. The Sky hang in there, Carter dumps it into Cardoso down low, and she's just too physical for even Aliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell, again in transition, scoops it in, making it 11 points for her. And things are starting to heat up towards the end of the third. Boston sends Kamilla back to Brazil with this fake, misses in the mid-range, but gets her own rebound not once, but twice. She misses again, but Clark's down there fighting, deflects the ball Boston's way, and she finally puts it in. 7 points and 7 rebounds for Aliyah Boston. And this right here is the part that everyone's talking about. Chennedy Carter knocks down a jumper from the mid-range and unprovoked, completely unnecessarily bodies Caitlin Clark from behind, low elbow into the hip, 100% deliberate, but the referees don't call a flagrant, They don't call a technical, they call a standard foul away from the ball. The Sky go into a timeout and look who welcomes Chennedy to the bench with smiles. Caitlin Clark's good old friend Angel Reese. Moments after the play, they get Clark on an interview and doesn't speak out of emotion, although she does point out that that wasn't a basketball play. The Sky got really physical with Caitlin in that third quarter, and the referees encouraged it because they didn't call it appropriately and allowed it to continue happening. Check out these two plays here. On this play earlier in the third, Clark was wrestled to the floor on a drive. Okay, it was a one-off, think nothing of it. Then on the next possession, going downhill, Cardoso steps in, clips her, Clark's in pain, limps to the bench and had to sit for the first time in the game. None of these plays look very deliberate as one-off incidents, but the fact that it keeps happening means there's more to it. Especially when after sitting for a bit, Clark comes into the game and Chennedy Carter comes over and does that. She was completely unapologetic in the post-game interview as well, saying this.
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
The WNBA has to do something and start officiating these games properly, especially when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But let's not allow this to overshadow what was a great game of hoops. Samuelson lets one go from deep. That's good and puts the Fever back up 6. Chennedy Carter continues her battle with Caitlin Clark, drives at her, takes the contact, finishes and talks a little more smack. Plus the foul, that's 3 points right there. Marina Mayberry, hand in her face, hits her second free ball of the game, and all of a sudden Indiana's lead's fading. Caitlin might have been struggling to score, but finds a way to still have an impact. Pick and roll with Nalyssa Smith, splits the defense with a bounce pass, and she floats it up and in. But wait, there's more. Play of the night right here. Caitlin Clark with the defensive rebound, pushes the pace in transition, tosses it to Erica Wheeler who lobs it to Kelsey Mitchell, alley-oop finish off the glass and one, no dribbles, just passes. What a play and what a finish from Kelsey Mitchell. Who says we don't see alley-oops in the WNBA? And of course she converts at the line, 3-point play. We're now halfway through the fourth quarter. Cardoso gets to the line, makes one of 2. The Sky trailed by just 6 points with a little over 5 minutes to go. Erica Wheeler sees a good look. She misses. Caitlin Clark sneaks baseline, grabs the rebound, retreats to the corner. She's wide open, uncontested. You know what happens next. The arena's about to be set on fire, but no. Her cold streak continues. She can't hit anything from 3. 2 of 9 since making her first 2 shots, and this gives the Sky confidence. Angel Reese, absolutely relentless on the offensive glass, gets back to the line, splits the free throws. That offensive rebound right there was her 8th in the game, which was a franchise record for a rookie. Speaking of rookies, there's your number 1 pick, Caitlin Clark getting physical with Evans. Instead of settling for a jumper or a fadeaway, goes into the post and scores to put Indiana up 9. That could have been the ball game right there, but no, there's more twists to come. 3 minutes to go and all of a sudden the Chicago Sky get hot. Chennedy Carter wide open, still talking, drains a free ball. Then it's Evans from the mid-range who scores. But look at the bottom right of your screen. Angel Reese shoves off Caitlin Clark. She hits the floor again. And instead of helping her up, Angel Reese stares her down. No whistle, no review, no technical fouls, no nothing. That's a completely fair play according to the referees. It's getting ridiculous, but back to the basketball because it's only a 5-point game with just over 2 minutes to go. Look at the defense from Chicago here. Clark inbounds to Mitchell who hands it back. They try to go to the pick and roll with Boston, but the Sky blitz Clark and she's in a lot of trouble. With nowhere to go, she tries to find Mitchell, but look how much ground Chennedy Carter makes up here to steal the ball, go the other way and score to make it a single possession game. Say what you want about Chennedy Carter, but she is balling in this game. Back on offense, Mitchell fires from deep. She misses. Another rebound for Reese. The Fever have gone ice cold. The Sky need a basket. They're patient. Clark does a great job defending Mayberry. Death for the shot clock. Carter cuts. Boston gets a hand up in her face, but she's smart enough to dump it off down low to Kamilla Cardoso who scores. An 8-0 Chicago run with 90 seconds left in the game and the Fever lead by only 1 point. The 2 former teammates, South Carolina legends, battling down low. Aliyah Boston versus Kamilla Cardoso. Boston fights for an angle. She gets one, scores and is fouled. She used her strength so well to get position, draw the foul and score. And more importantly than drawing the foul, she converted and put her team up 4. Boston, back up against Cardoso. This time the Brazilian shuts her down. forces her into a tough mid-range shot and misses. Evans is fouled in transition, goes to the line and scores 2. 45 seconds remain, 2-point Fever lead. A stop here and Chicago can steal it. Crowd on their feet, ball in Clark's hand, she kills time, waits for the screen, feeds Aliyah Boston, who instead of settling for a pull-up jumper, almost throws it out of bounds. Smith keeps it alive, Evans gets a touch on it, can't get the steal, so it's Fever ball. With 4 seconds left on the shot clock and 24 seconds left in the game. Clark inbounds to Mitchell, she drives and airballs a jumper towards the baseline. Angel Reese again gets the rebound. There's 15 seconds left. A 2-pointer for the Sky will tie it and send it to overtime. Chicago don't take a timeout. They go to Mayberry. One-on-one with Mitchell, spins top of the key. Smith tries to steal it, hits the deck, ends up getting none of the ball and all of Mayberry. Refs call a foul, and with 6 seconds to go, the Sky have a chance to tie the game at the free throw line. Mayberry, an 80% foul line shooter, unbelievably misses the first and blows the opportunity to tie the game. She makes the second. It's Indiana's ball up 1. The Fever geniusly inbound into the backcourt. Chicago once again sleeping from the inbound. Clark gets it. Instead of shooting, she throws the ball up in the air to kill time, and it's game over. The Indiana Fever defeat Chicago Sky 71-70. Caitlin Clark goes 1-0 against Angel Reese and Kamilla Cardoso in one of the biggest WNBA games in history. Massive win for them as a team, just their second of the season, and what a turning point this result could be for their year. Although the controversy and dirty plays will dominate the headlines, this game lived up to the hype and all 3 rookies were outstanding. Clark had 11 points, 8 rebounds and 6 assists. She made history in this game, becoming the youngest player in WNBA history to ever record 150 points, 50 rebounds and 50 assists in her first 10 WNBA games. Kamilla Cardoso played under 20 minutes. She had 11 points and 6 rebounds. Angel Reese was dominant on the glass. 13 rebounds, 8 points. She made a bit of history too. Carter, Mayberry, Evans all had great games for the Sky, but Kelsey Mitchell with 18, Nalyssa Smith with 17, and Boston with 10 plus great defense and a bunch of rebounds is what won the Fever this game. I'm telling you, they may not be great right now, but this is a young team with a lot of good young players and a lot of potential. If I'm Indiana, I'm not giving up on this young core after a rocky start to the season. They're going to get better and they're going to figure it out. But what a great game and what a great endorsement for women's basketball. This rivalry is just getting started. You can see the tension between these two teams. The history is there from college and it's only going to continue in the coming years. This is Larry Bird Magic Johnson like, and if you want to follow the whole story, subscribe to the channel. We're covering it all right here on the channel.